Good to see everybody. Quick about my past. Grew up exit 7 of the Turnpike. Went to freshman at just up the way at a little school in New Brunswick. So I know New Jersey. I know ShopRite. I know the other banners. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, I was working for a little company called the Quaker Oats Company, trying to sell a little product called Gatorade. And we knew we were in trouble when we had to come up this way to visit a little gentleman down the road, ran one of your competitors, Stan Sorkin, or another gentleman that used to be here locally, Joe Sheridan. Wasn't always a good day, but he made us work harder. He made us understand what you needed in your stores. I like the comment from the video, have everything on her list. We were able to convince Joe and many of you back in those days that you needed Gatorade. Why, I have no idea. It's 96 or 94% water, but you needed Gatorade. Sold a lot of it. Well, what I'm going to talk a little bit about today is plant-based foods. And you know, it's a fairly new moniker. We're one of the leaders and the founders of what is known as the Plant-Based Food Association. And what that association, much like the Organic Trade Association and some other things before us, is to help people understand what the trend is. And I had Safeway NorCal the other day ask me, what should we be putting on your tags in your various sections? Dairy-free, gluten-free for our pizzas, for our mac and cheese. What is it? Plant-based is kind of the umbrella over all of those. And it's a big trend right now. And it's what moms are looking for on their shopping list and what you should be having obviously in your stores. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Back in a few years ago, gluten-free was big. Organic was big about 10, 15 years ago. But when gluten-free first came out, the box tasted better than the food. Literally, I mean, it was great. We're gluten-free. You didn't have the R&D, you didn't have the technicians developing these products because, quite frankly, if it doesn't taste good, your shoppers are not going to eat it. Plant-based. Right now, it's about a $3.5 billion category. Going to $5 billion. I think $5 billion is small. You're going to see the size of Daiya right now and what we hope to be. And we're a small player in this. I mean, Silk's been around for about 20 years. They're a huge player in this, biggest portion of this. I think it's only going to get bigger. But you see the trend, up 11%. There's a reason companies like Campbell's and General Mills and our new owner are looking for little companies like this because this is where the growth is. We're growing at 35, 45% a year, and a lot of the Crafts of the world, the Quakers of the world where I came from for 24 years, they're flat. It's a good year when they're flat or only down 0.5%. The plant-based foods and the other things like this is where the growth is. As I mentioned before, you can see in the beverage, it's still the biggest portion of plant-based. About 56% right now, but that's shrinking. It's not growing as fast. It's only growing at 6%. Food companies, plant-based food companies like ourselves and Beyond Meats here, we actually use Beyond Meat on one of our products to enhance the flavor, one of their pea protein-based sausage crumbles. You can't tell the difference between that and real sausage, in my opinion. But you can see what the growth is, and that's going to continue to scale. We'll just put up a few things on the slide about some other things, like you saw in there, the non-GMO, the certified organic, things like that. Those are all big topics, but the one that's growing the fastest right now is the plant-based moniker. And this isn't just, he started to call us a vegan company. We were started by 2 vegans about 10 years ago, but we don't consider ourselves a vegan company. We consider ourselves a plant-based company, as you will see, that plays in multiple categories to meet the needs of those shoppers, not just vegans. If you only sell to the vegans and the vegetarians, it's about 7%. We're looking for the people that are meatless Mondays. We're not trying to close down anyone's meat department or anything else, other proteins. We're enhancing what they're selling, making it better for them, and you'll see the reasons why. The 4 reasons: health and wellness. I mean, obviously makes sense. It's nutritional value, it's functional foods, it's better for you foods. You look at the transparency, clean labels. They want to understand what's on the label. They want everything on the label to be transparent, easy to understand, know where it came from. Sustainability. The vegans are driving a lot of this. Animal welfare, what it came from, carbon footprint, you've heard those. And then the last thing is, and I think probably the most important, again, back to Beyond Meat and some of the things we do. Without the technology, without the people behind it, It ends up just being another food product that doesn't taste good. If you go to Europe these days, I just finished 2 weeks in Europe looking as we're getting ready to expand. They have some protein substitutes, but it's not like the Beyond Meat product, which is quite frankly a analog for a hamburger patty or something else, and it actually tastes good. We feel the same way about our cheese products. We're not just putting something in there that's used in place of cheese. It's a dairy-free cheese. And again, as we said earlier, come by the booth, try it. You'll be very surprised. The growth, as I said about Daiya. We launched about 10 years ago, January 15th, 2008. There's very few companies. In fact, there's no companies in the plant-based world, or even other than Siggy's yogurt, in the organic, natural world that have had this growth for companies over $50 million. I like to think we've had some great products. We have some good, nice innovation, but we're also riding this plant-based trend. Your shoppers, your consumers, they're looking for products like this. And as I said before, we'll do somewhere between $150 and $170 million this year. And we expect to be $1 billion by about 2025. That's coming on some tremendous trends. Where do we play? It's one thing like Silk. Silk for the longest time played in the fluid milk section pretty much. We play in every category of the store, and we've had our cheese and our cream cheese out for 5 years, our cheese out for 10 years, and we're still seeing strong double-digit growth, and we're growing across all of our categories, whether it's Cheesy Mac or our pizzas, cheese sauces, and as you'll see, in all areas of the store. Daiya, much like many of the other plant-based brands, want to be a brand for the consumer, a brand for the shopper that they feel comfortable, they feel safe with. It's like Kraft Blue Box mac and cheese. You've been buying that for forever and ever. We want Daiya to be that. And Daiya is the brand across all of our products in all areas of the store and all day parts. This is the thing that, it's one thing, I know when I sold, whether it was Quaker Oatmeal or Captain Crunch, when you went into the buyer and you said, this is going to sell a lot. But if 99% of your sales came from your competition, am I really helping your store? Am I really helping your category? This is helping your store, this is helping your categories. You can see the average shopper, $47.29, and then you can see what plant-based, you can see what Daiya is. If you've known anybody that's been on the keto diet or the paleo diet or any of these type of things, they're willing to spend more on their food basket to get better foods, to meet their needs, to get them into ketosis, to get them keeping them paleo. Atkins back in the day, they're willing to spend more money. Bigger basket ring, and it's on their shopping list. If they don't find it in one of the Wakefern supported stores, they will find it somewhere else. And what we have found with some of the competition, there's some people that are doing it right. A lot of them start with W. Whole Foods has been doing it right for a long time. One of the players that we got started very early on was Wegmans. And they do it right. You walk into their stores right now and you see up on their banner, it says plant-based. Much like you guys, they asked us in about 2 years ago to take a look at what they were doing with their natural section, store within a store, and could they revitalize that and make it more of a plant-based. At Wegmans, we move almost as much in a Wegmans as we do Whole Foods. That's where we started, which is kind of amazing when you think about, I sold a lot of Gatorade, a lot of cases, a lot of units per store per week. Our mozzarella shred at Whole Foods moves 24 units per store per week. I go way back, 36 years in the industry, started at a commissary at McGuire Air Force Base. Anything that moved 3, 4, 5 units a week, that's pretty good. 24 units is unbelievable. At Wegmans, we move 17 units per store per week on our shred. This is a fake cheese. This is a dairy-free cheese. The first time some people look at it, they're like, it's radioactive. They don't even want to come near it. But then when you taste it and you see it melt and stretch and mostly taste good, and you put a slice of Daiya cheese on a Beyond Burger, that's a nice product. You can see, in like many of these type trends, natural leads the way. What they call MULO here, which is basically what the Wakefern banners are under, is the multi-outlet. It's the conventional, but you're getting it. 5, 6 years ago, I met with our UNFI in-house rep, John Marone, at Wakefern, and he got it. And at that time, we were in about 25% of the Wakeferns. I think we're encroaching on about 75% now. Every single store under the Wakefern banner should have our products, should have the Beyond Meat products, should have the other plant-based products that are out there, because that's what your shoppers are looking for. Average items. A lot of our growth has been riding the trend, but the categories, like I said before, and the average number of items has gone up, and right now we're at about 35. And that's where a lot of the growth is coming from. It's organic growth, but it's also with innovation. Wakefern, 15. Best in class, it starts with a W, it's out of Rochester. I won't tell you who it is. They've got 35 items across all of the store. And from what we've seen in the interest in talking to people from Wakefern as well as the store groups, we know the opportunities here. And like I said, your shoppers, it's on their shopping list. In closing, you can see at the growth, it's up 11%. It's really up a lot more than that. That's including the beverage part. If you just look at the food part, it's 17 to 20%. You look at the fast growth of Daiya and other plant-based companies, and it's faster than some of the other things that have been trendy over the last few years. Underdeveloped in this category, but we think the products are there, they taste good, they're delivering, and we know by working with your nutritionalist, Wakefern has more nutritionalists in the stores than any other chain in the country, more than the Whole Foods, more than the Sprouts, more than the Wegmans of the world. You've got people in the stores that understand what the shoppers need. So come by our booth. Love to answer any questions. I don't think we have quite time for questions now, but please come by. Thank you.